Rock Dude here.
And Marky Z, and welcome to another awesome episode of the
Rockin' House.
Season 2. Today's special guest we have all the way from New York City, from a really cool location, actually this awesome graveyard in Brooklyn, is going to be Vajra. We have Anna Marie Pina, lead singer, and we have Dave, her boyfriend, who also is a guitar player for the band, but has switched to bass. And I'll tell you what, this is a band that's unique in its own way because she brings this amazing kind of cool spiritualism vibe to the stage. And she actually even does these cool rituals that really brings an awesome feel of her music, which I like to say it's kind of like gypsy metal. And I like to say that I'm kind of feeling this awesome vibe coming right now, and it's probably from them. So we're going to bring them on in just a minute. Rock Dude.
Yeah, it's definitely a spiritual vibe. The lead singer, Anna, she's a school-educated Juilliard
graduate
musician. So she spent 5 years in India learning the culture, the religion, and the history of India. She brings that back, Mark, and she basically incorporates that into the music. And so that's where this whole like gypsy kind of context comes from. So you're going to get some genuine, Indian rhythms and background music in the metal. So it's a completely ritual band. And we're glad to have them on. And what a cool spot we're going to be doing this Skype from a graveyard. It's over 100 years old in Brooklyn, New York. So in addition, a friend of ours, we're gearheads and educated on equipment and guitars and instruments. So we're pretty well-rounded here at the Rockin' House. So next to Mark over there is MJ, Matthias Jabs, Scorpion, signature model guitar. How cool is that?
Yeah.
If you haven't seen one, that would definitely be one that he would have in his arsenal. It's probably the one he uses the most. So, it's a scaled-down version of like a Gibson Explorer, but Matthias Jabs wanted one that wasn't quite as large. So it's a little smaller than your full-size Explorer guitar, but Matthias Jabs guitar, and it came out of the Alan Adonis, right?
So we thank you, Alan, very much for bringing that awesome addition to the Rockin' House.
So you want to kick this off in the graveyard, Mark?
Yeah, let's go there. I'm feeling us being told to go there. So let's bring on Vajra to the Rockin' House. Welcome. All right, this is Marky Z. I'm here with my partner, Rock Dude, and welcome to another Season 2 of the Rockin' House. Today's special guest I have from New York, is Vajra. I've got Anna Marie, the vocalist, and I've got Dave, I believe the guitar player of the band. Welcome to the Rockin' House today, guys.
Hi, how's it going? Dave is he started playing guitar in Vajra, but now he's actually playing bass on Vajra.
Oh, he's playing bass like me. That's awesome. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm a bass player too, Dave. I love it, brother. Okay, so let's start our show today. It looks like it's beautiful where you're at. It's beautiful here in Philadelphia and in the area. I'm out here with Rock Dude's house in Bridgeport, PA. And let's start with how you, Anna, I'll start with you. How you became a singer. Like, was it a childhood thing? You always wanted to be a vocalist? You had favorite singers that were females that you always wanted to be like? How did it start for you?
Yeah, I really started dancing when I was 3, so that was my first introduction to music, and my parents aren't really music people, they're educators, but Dad always had soul music on in the background, and Mom would just play weird stuff like 50s or 40s music, which I love, but it was not current stuff. And I started playing violin at 6 and flute at 8. And I loved playing the instruments, but I really always wanted to sing.
Okay.
And I was growing up listening to more I would say Motown or pop music, stuff that was on the radio. So Michael Jackson and Madonna and like, Van Halen, but like Van Halen that was, it wasn't the deep cuts, it's just like the radio stuff, like this kind of thing, and then, it just transitioned from there, whatever was current that was on the radio. And I just always felt, I loved to perform. And I always just wanted to be like my heroes, Prince, Madonna, Michael Jackson. Those are like the heroes as like the early heroes when I was really, really little.
Right.
And I started writing lyrics when I was maybe 8 or 10. And I still have those notebooks. It's crazy to look at.
Wow.
But I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just kind of winging it,
Yeah.
And didn't really muster the courage to start a band until much later in my life.
Okay.
I never really was in any other band. I dabbled with some local bands, but it never really. I never felt good, and I never felt good singing somebody else's lyrics. I always felt that it was like cheating almost, or I just didn't feel like it was genuine.
Okay.
So I just started Vajra, and I moved to India, and that's where I wrote Pleroma. I just started writing. I would write in my bedroom, in my home studio.
Okay.
I had a Pro Tools set up with an M-Box, and I just scheduled my day where I'd wake up, I'd do some, I'd dick around on the internet for a couple hours, have my coffee, and then I'd just delve in and spent the whole day just exploring. And then I'd go to the gym, and then I would come home and eat dinner and watch a movie. But everything was always geared towards whatever inspired the music.
Right.
So like whatever I selected, whatever I chose to surround, the people I chose to surround myself with. And a lot of times I just kind of hold myself in Monday through Friday. I kind of treated it like it was a job. The writing process was like a job. Like I just disciplined myself to sit there and write and create. And like the movies I would watch, everything would kind of fuel whatever like thread I was following when I was writing.
Okay.
So yeah.
Wow,
so
that's
it
interesting. So music for you as a band started later in life.
It started
wasn't
later.
Like early.
Yeah. Like playing the violin and the flute was classical music. It wasn't rock, so it wasn't anything that I knew I wanted to transition, but I didn't know how to transition. Okay. Being a classical musician is way different, right? You're playing somebody else's music. It's already written. You're playing stuff from like the 1800s that you're not even really, it's great stuff, but but it's not. It wasn't. You can express yourself through the performance, of course, but there was something else that I needed to do, and it was this groundwork stuff of starting, creating the music from the ground up, from nothing. It was, the way I think of it is we put ourselves into a space where we connect with spirit and we hear things that's there, and we translate that to the material world if we're doing it correctly. Okay. And I needed to do that process. I needed to go through that process.
Okay.
And that was the birth of everything. So that was Pleroma.
Wow. Okay. So and also I believe that your classical training came from going to one of the most accredited schools in the world for music at Juilliard, right? Is that correct?
Yeah. So I was at I was there at Juilliard for a year, and I studied composition while I was there. So that of course, it all helps. Everything helps you to go deeper.
Sure.
Everything leads you to where you are now. So that was part of the process.
Okay.
For sure.
Well, let's switch over to Dave now. Dave. If you want to get in here. Hey, brother, what's going on, man? I know we've met each other and things like that through the Pansy situation, but I want to talk about how, what's your story on how you became, I see you play guitar, but then you switched to bass. How did that start for you with the music with you in your life?
I started playing in high school. I was a geeky kid that had no athletic ability, so of course I picked up a guitar.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I doing the whole high school band thing, and a couple of bands throughout the Long Island, New York City scene.
Right.
And then I really got started playing with a band called Bile, which was an industrial metal band that kind of still exists.
I heard of them. Yeah. Okay.
But so I played in Bile for like 20 years or something like that. I don't know. I think I'm still in Bile. I'm not sure.
You still think you're in the band?
I think I'm still in the band. I think
That's
the singer. They're all my closest friends. The singer Christoph is a good friend of mine. Bass player. We're all spread out across the country, but we get together once every couple of years and do a show. But and then I knew Anna Maria through the scene, and just I one day said I want to play guitar in Vajra, and I came down, and if I sucked, no big deal. We'll go out and have a drink,
Yeah.
But I came down and auditioned, and I was in the band for a number of years as a guitar player.
Okay.
And then I left for a year or so, just personal stuff. And then I came back. She has two amazing guitar players, so I'm like, I'll play bass because I did the bass thing also in a bunch of bands. So,
Okay.
And my old band Pansy.
Yeah.
I played bass in Pansy.
Yeah, Johnny Rocket and DC Gonzalez.
Johnny Rocket, DC.
Great
Johnny
guys,
Ryan.
man. The great guys.
Yeah.
Love those guys.
That incarnation, they did another incarnation with another singer, Jason Caddick, but I was in the Johnny Hawaiian version.
Yes, I remember.
And that's it. So now I'm fully dived in with Vajra, and we're doing this thing.
It's awesome, man. Very awesome. So you're feeling the vibe, and you're liking it. This is where your life is on the music.
I love it. I've always
situation.
loved the bass playing in this band.
Very cool.
The bass lines are just amazing. I like playing bass in Vajra better than guitar.
Okay.
And because it moves. It moves a lot. It's a driving bass line. It's a tough bass line.
Nice.
So a lot of the guitar is the guitar is like colors.
Right.
Whereas the bass just like fucking, can I say that?
Yeah.
the bass just kind of, just moves it. So that's what I really like.
Hey man, I'm with you, dude. I'm a bassist myself, and I played guitar for 25 years. I went back to bass. I still play guitar, but there's something about bass, dude. I feel it.
It's a different.
I love it.
It's a whole different
animal.
animal.
Soul,
it's a whole different. It's a different animal.
Yes.
I love the guitar. I've got two Les Pauls that I'll never sell.
Right.
But I love playing bass also.
So awesome, man.
That's the story.
I'll tell you what, guys, we're going to come back in just a minute and talk more about what's going on with Vajra. This is Marky Z, and I'm back with Dave and Anna Maria of Vajra. Welcome back, guys. Pretty awesome. The first segment, we just discussed some interesting things, and of course, I was able to relate to many of these things, which, being a musician, that makes sense. Let's talk about this video. Which one? Maya. What an awesome video. Even the censored version's cool. I mean, you guys got a lot of guts to do something like that. But you know what? It shows that you want to really give the passion and bring the spirit of why you do what you do by doing something like that. That shows no shame, no fear. And man, the universe loves things like that. Okay?
Thank you.
So let's talk about Maya. Let's talk about that video. How did that inspiration come about? Like, what's that really going? I have an idea, but let me hear from you guys where the concept came for that whole song.
Yeah, so the trilogy series as a whole is an exploration in consciousness, and Urkala is the first album in the trilogy that explores this different levels of consciousness. So Urkala is the Sumerian word for. So I'm starting. It's like a pyramid. I'm starting at the bottom and I'm moving up. So Urkala is the album is a Sumerian word for the underworld. So that's a metaphor for this lower level of consciousness.
Got it.
So the songs on Urkala explore this lower level, explore materialism, egoism, superficiality, all this. And one of the songs on Urkala is called Maya, and Maya means illusion. It's the illusion of the self, who you think you are, the I in front of the deeper I that can watch, the I behind the I, who I am, aside from Anna Maria Pinna, that I have dark hair, that I'm wearing red lipstick, that I'm sitting here in a graveyard. Like, that's fine. But who is the I deeper than this person of who I think I am, the labels of who I think I am? And then Maya also means, so it's the illusion of the self, but Maya is also the illusion of the world, what we think is happening here.
Right.
But there are other things that are happening here that we may not fully understand, and may not fully connect with. And so Maya is an exploration in those concepts.
Wow. Very interesting.
Now,
pretty deep.
The video, so now that's the song. The video, what we decided we're doing is we were going to loosely base the story. We wrote a story, and it's all the music on Urkala is a part of the story. So all of the music will have a video component.
Wow.
And for Maya, so the story generally is based on the Sumerian classic hero myth, the descent of Inanna. And we took that story and kind of modernized it. Wow. So Maya is the second chapter in that story. And basically, you can see this couple meet, and this character, I don't know if I want to tell you too much about the character before the whole thing comes out, but you can see in the story the character is one character. She is a character who has a connection to the otherworldly realm, and then she descends into the material realm, and she sees this dude, and he's like human, and she decides she wants to play in the material realm, so she wants to experience love and see how that works out. And so you see in Maya the meeting scenes. We selected, we shot everything ourselves, we edited it ourselves, we produced it ourselves, we selected the locations ourselves, and everything is kind of crazy because all the locations have an undertone, a historical undertone that's really dark. So, for example, in one of the meeting scenes, we're walking down a street in Chinatown, which is actually a couple blocks from our apartment, and it's called the Bloody Angle. And the reason why it's called the Bloody Angle is because in the 1800s, it was one of the most dangerous places in the country. And the reason why it was the most dangerous place in the country is because the Chinese gangs would fight each other on that street, because it's a curved street, with hatchets.
Wow.
And there's tunnels underneath it. So there's a lot of blood and a lot of real negative energy that's on that street. And we wanted that energy to fuel the shots. So that's why we selected that area for some of the shots.
Okay.
The beach scenes also are at an area that are crazy. It's called Dead Horse Bay.
Wow.
And that area has a lot of real, it has a lot of, it was a site where all of the houses, when they built the Belt Parkway, they demolished all these neighborhoods, and they took all the houses and all the stuff, and made a landfill over there, and that's that area. There's also nuclear waste there. It was a horse rendering facility.
And the thing about Dead Horse Bay is all the shit that they buried in the landfill is now coming up because of erosion.
Yeah.
So it's completely filled with garbage and bottles. Everything from the 1950s is being unburied, and you can look it up. It's crazy.
And horse, you find also, because it was a horse rendering facility, there were like facilities right there. You see bones, chopped up horse bones everywhere as well. Yeah. So it's crazy. So we selected these areas to shoot the scenes because we wanted that negative energy to be an undercurrent in the video. Even if you're not consciously aware of it, we knew it was there.
And by the way, Dead Horse Bay is not open to the public. You just got to kind of know where it is and go there.
Gotcha. It's one of the places.
Yeah.
Okay. And one more thing I wanted to add about the video is that all the rituals that are in the video are real rituals that I created. I actually created those rituals, and we actually performed those rituals. So they're real. And the menstrual blood is real.
Wow. Well, I kind of felt those rituals were real. I kind of could feel the vibe. When I watched that, I felt the uniqueness. I was like, these guys created their own genre of metal. That's why I was saying gypsy metal. Like, that could be a new genre. Like,
thank you. I
think you guys created something here. And I hope you just keep going with it because it's unique and different.
Thank you.
I like it. And it's a good vibe, an interesting vibe. So I'll tell you what, we're going to come back in just a minute and talk some more. Vajra. This is Marky Z. I'm back again with Vajra, Anna Maria, and Dave. And I want to talk about, just a little off focus here, where you guys are located. It seems like a really interesting place, like the graveyard, as you were walking through before we got set up to do this video interview here. It was pretty interesting looking. Let's talk a little bit about where you guys are at, and even that mausoleum right there that you're at right in front of.
Yeah, so this is Greenwood Cemetery.
Wow.
It's one of my favorite places to come.
Cool.
It was built, I think it started in the early 1800s.
Wow.
And it was modeled after Père Lachaise in Paris.
Wow.
So, and Père Lachaise is where,
Jim Morrison.
Jim Morrison is there, and like so many major artists and
cool.
and musicians. Just like really, it's a magical place.
Wow.
But this place I come to and just chill out. I write in my journal. Dave and I just go for walks.
Cool.
I wrote the lyrics to the Bridge to Sever the Tie
Okay.
on one of the hilltops where I hang out. This is one of my favorite graves to come to. It's Anna Maria Pierpont.
Wow, yeah, okay. I see it.
And yeah, and then there's like a special tree that I like to go visit, and like a healing tree. And there's just certain spots.
Is that tree nearby you, if you don't mind me asking?
Sorry, say it again.
Is the tree near you right now, or you have to walk pretty far
No, we'd have to walk over. I don't mind walking over.
Go.
All right, and you were saying about this tree, it's a little bit to walk to, right? Yeah?
Yeah, it's a little bit to walk to, and I wander, so I can't tell you
Okay.
exactly. Like, I just know how to go and where to go. But it's like, these trees are magical. If you can see, they're just beautiful old trees. They're huge, beautiful old trees. And this, because it was built so, in like the early 1800s, the people energy is less, so the earth energy is really strong.
Right.
Nature is stronger here than the people energy, aside from the dead bodies.
And it's in the middle of Brooklyn.
And
It's the middle of Brooklyn,
I mean,
of all places,
you
right?
you have like Samuel F. E. Morris is buried here, and Steinway is buried here, and Basquiat is buried here, so we're in good company.
Very cool.
I hope we don't get thrown out.
No, it's just beautiful.
Well, I'll tell you what, I noticed you have like this, interesting look to you, and I know it's a spiritual thing because I believe in that stuff. I practice it. We talked about it already, about the chakras and cleaning them, that they're real, and they also create what happens in your life. And I also am very familiar with what it means when you see the Indian dot, or like you have like a little crystal. That is usually your third eye. Let's talk about the concept of that. I mean, you wear that because that's something that you believe in. You want people to know, hey, I'm not just a musician. This is also my belief. Am I right about that? Yes?
Yeah, I mean, the way I present myself is reflective of my beliefs for sure. Living in India for 5 years, it became a part of my life, the culture and different pieces, like whenever you're shaped by your environment, and you're shaped by your chemistry as well, right? So it's just a part of who I am. I wear the bindi on the third eye. There are different reasons to wear the bindi on the third eye. One of the reasons is to highlight your third eye, and that's why I choose to wear it.
That's the
and
reason.
I think it looks cool.
It does look
just
cool.
A pretty thing, to wear.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very awesome. Okay, so let's talk about something new that might be coming down the pike with Vajra. You said you got a new album you're working on, right?
Yeah, so
awesome. Let's talk
Urkala
about
was just
that.
released in January. We're probably going to release another single from Urkala in a couple of months. And then we're currently working on the second album in the trilogy as well. So we have a demo already mapped out.
Nice.
And now I have to work on lyrics and melodies and stuff like that. So we're in that process now.
All right.
And we're working with Sahaj Tikatine from Raw again.
Okay.
He's just really amazing.
All right, so is there anything coming in the works? I know things are starting to open up. I mean, I'm able to get booking the shows now and things like that. You guys got a tour that you're going to maybe putting together soon?
Yeah, so we're talking to our
Nice.
agent now about putting that together. So
Awesome.
we're looking at fall, probably realistically. He's
Sure.
telling us it's the fall,
Right.
and next year, like summer festivals and stuff like that. Let's see what happens. He's working on it.
Nice.
We're in regular rehearsals, so we're
Very
just
good.
gearing up and prepping the show.
That's exciting. Awesome. Awesome. I'm glad to see
Yeah.
that things are opening up. And I see the excitement that and myself and all these musicians are getting now that they can play gigs. They don't even care if they're real big gigs. They get a gig, they're excited. It's like we're a kid in a candy store. I got a gig.
Yeah.
You know, because
Yeah.
what we had to do with
Yeah.
being in isolation was crazy.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's nuts. Like we miss being on the road. It's like
Yeah.
it's tough. It's tough not being on the
So
road.
let's go to that.
And it's
being on the
and
road.
it's tough. Yeah, it's tough releasing music and not being on the road.
Right. So let's go to that concept of being on the road. I know what that's like. It's an interesting feeling. It's nothing like it in the world to be able to do that. Go show people your art and they love it. And it's just the satisfaction alone is just amazing. That you can't even put a price on things like that. I know that being a musician for the years I've been one and done touring, even in the United States, all I ever went. But still, it was still touring. The thing is, I want to talk about what are some of the most awesome places you guys have played with Vajra. What would you say? I mean, there might be more than one, I'm sure. But what did you say would be like your most memorable places you guys have played? You said, wow, this is amazing, and I'm here playing this.
Well, I have to say, when we played in LA,
Cool.
believe it or not, some of our best crowds were on the Sunset Strip.
Very
Viper
awesome.
The Viper Room was amazing. The place was packed.
Wow.
And that was just when the curtain opened at the Viper Room and the room was packed and everybody was there for us, I was like, wow, this is fucking
Felt
great.
really good.
This is great.
An amazing feeling.
But that was great because that was LA and I'm a New Yorker and I'm like,
Yeah.
to play in LA was never. It was always a dream.
Yeah.
So doing it, I did it with Bile previously. Years ago, and to do it again with Vajra was just insane.
You manifested it, man. That's how it
that was
happened.
for me.
That's really cool.
For me, as you said, that what popped into my head is we played in Oklahoma.
Okay.
This one show that was outdoors, and
Okay.
when we rolled up, it was a smaller venue. Didn't seem like that exciting. I was wondering how many people would come.
Gotcha. Okay.
We played. I think it was near Oklahoma City, and when we started playing, it was a mix of Native people and white people, and
Right.
and when we started the show, I greeted the four winds, the four directions,
Okay.
and just went into a real space
Nice.
where I wanted to feel the energy of the area,
Right.
and by the end of it, it was just a magical
Nice.
show where I felt like the channeling was really pure, and we met some really cool people. Like we met one of the chiefs of the Cheyenne tribe, and he was
Nice.
like, "Anytime you want to play, you let me know." And that was really cool because I felt that the channeling was so pure that he respected it, and he's connected to that area, and was like so that felt like it was just a really great time.
Quite a difference from my Sunset Strip story.
Yeah, but both are equally great. It's just different energies and different connections that happened at the time. But the one thing that is similar is that the connections were pure both times.
Yes. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So they're just connections to different things. But
So the same
channeling
vibration was
open.
there.
Yeah. That we were able to go out of ourselves,
Wow.
out of our ego space, and connect to whatever energy was coming in. That's the best. Those are the best shows.
And then being in a place like that where you have Indian culture, like Cheyenne Indians, you said, that you can't get more spiritual than that. They're spiritual people. They've been all their lives. Like you guys are supposed to be there. Even though it might have been a big venue, there was a reason you were there.
Yeah,
I'm sure you believe
no
that.
doubt.
Yeah, that's so cool, man. I love when that happens, like the manifestation. It's like magic, and it's crazy because people don't understand it until they actually experience it.
Yeah,
And it's like, wow,
yeah, that's
this
right.
is
You
real.
can't. anybody can talk about it, but you don't really, we're not, if you want to be some people are sheep, and some of us are sheep with different levels of different things in our lives. Like I'm a sheep for certain things as well. It's not so black and white, but when you experience something firsthand, you know it. No one has to tell you or explain to you what it is. You just know it, and you know it's true.
Hey, we're back again with Vajra, and Dave's got some interesting and really cool thing to talk about this bass that he plays, a Rickenbacker, right?
Okay, yeah, it's a Rickenbacker 4003. I got it brand new about a year ago, or a little over a year ago. But I found it online used.
Okay.
So there's this music store. They were promoting this used Rickenbacker for they go for like $2,600. It was online for $1,400 for a used one.
Nice.
So I called up and I'm like, I want to get the used one.
Right.
I actually ordered it, and then I got a message saying it's not available, but it was still on the website.
Okay.
So I called the guy, and I'm like, you got this used Rickenbacker on the website, and I tried to order it. It says it wasn't available, but it's still on the site. And the guy's like, well, we have a brand new one, but it's not used. And I'm like, well, you still got and he's like, but since the price on the website is for a used one, I have to give it to you for that price. And I'm like,
how about it?
I'm like, I rented a car.
He's like, I'll take it. He's like, I'll take it, and we're gonna come tomorrow.
I saved $1,000. I saved over $1,000 on that thing. I rented a car for $100.
Wow.
I went overnight upstate New York and bought it in cash. For basically over $1,000 less than it should have been, and it's brand new. It was brand new.
And what about the date it was made?
Oh, it was made on her birthday.
Really? So you were meant to have that bass, bro? That's what that means. You were meant to have that bass. It had your name on it. It had her name on it.
So crazy. When the guy opened the
wow,
box,
that's awesome.
The energy from the bass was like so amazing. It was like, oh my God.
Wow, that's so cool.
Super powerful.
Well,
it was magical.
Thank you for sharing that magical moment about a bass. As a musician, I could totally relate to that and love that. That's an amazing story, and that means a lot.
Awesome.
And I'll tell you what, I appreciate you sharing that with me.
I love all the day when money's not your God. A poison idolatry and focus on no. All the strings that held you tight blindfold. Hard cause you got to be sold. In the shape of a slave, just you on your soul. Never question why you can't touch me inside. Get on your knees, it's time for you to pray. Till the ones in control will tell you what to say.
The name Vajra, I want to ask you this question. How did that come about? I mean, I know you're very spiritual already, so obviously it makes sense why you named the band something spiritual. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, Vajra is Tibetan Buddhist and Hindi for the thunderbolt or the diamond. It's that which breaks through everything. So I wanted a name. I have a tattoo, and that's actually my tattoo. But I wanted a name that reflected what this project is about. And this project is about connecting to spirit energy and translating it.
Right.
And the Vajra energy is that energy that does that. It's more male than it is female, which is interesting. But it's a driving force.
Right.
So I remember writing down like a whole page of just names, and it just came back to Vajra.
Wow. Well, it makes sense. Think about it. You are surrounded by males, okay? So there it is. It makes perfect sense on why that manifested. And you went with it, and look where it's brought you. So you see, things happen for reasons. I'm a big person about that and believing that. And of course, manifestation, I believe in that as well. Well, I'll tell you what, guys, we could talk all day long about certain things, but I think it was really interesting. This conversation was definitely one of the most interesting ones that I've had yet on this show, and it was very awesome having you guys. I was glad you were able to make it. Thank you again for coming to the show. I'm Mark Easy, my partner, Rock Dude, and I'm out.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us.
They took what you gave.